Hey, how's it going, guys? Today I wanted to do a quick video on a keyboard that I feel like was kind of seen as a gold standard of sorts for a while, but I think with how much the keyboard market has changed, maybe it's fallen from that position. And so that board is the Tofu 60. Of course, this is also going to kind of include the Tofu 65, Tofu 84, I think is the other one. And so yeah, let's just get into it. So this is the Tofu 60. I'm running it with the pine green aluminum case, DZ60 soldered PCB because this type of layout isn't available through their hot swap options. And I am using their polycarbonate plate, also from KVD Fans. And so yeah, build-wise, this is probably one of the most straightforward and most normal keyboard DIY kind of experiences that I've had. And so, yeah, this board, the build experience was pretty good. I did have a problem with some of the stabilizers, but that has nothing to do with the board itself, so I'm not going to talk about it too much here. Apart from that, in this personal build here, I do have DCS Nightshade. I don't remember what it's called exactly, but I also have Duroc medium tactiles in here, which is a lighter kind of feeling tactile switch, which I personally really like. So let's get into the reasons why I think this board might not be as great as it once was considered. So let's get into the reasons why I think the Tofu isn't as great as it once was. And so the main reason for that is because this is a tray mount board. What that means is that the PCB and plate assembly just kind of drop into the case and you feed screws through into the PCB and into the case, kind of securing it in place. And so what that does is it creates these kind of hotspots for a stiffer feel as well as a more metallic sound, at least on the aluminum case. I feel like the acrylic case is probably going to sound better, but that's just something to note with the aluminum one. And I think most people are going to go for the aluminum option because it's generally seen as more premium, and also that's where you're going to get all the color options. Like this pine green is pretty unique. So yeah, and you can definitely hear it. So there is a screw right in between these G and H keys. So, and let's just go over to the left a little bit here. You get a much more different sound profile. You get less of that ping away from the screw, and it sounds a lot better in my opinion. There is also the issue where the Tofu, at least again in the aluminum case, is going to be quite pingy stock. And that's because it's just a hollow shell of metal. And for some reason, there's a deeper cutout here. Maybe there was supposed to be like a wireless version, but I've never seen that. Maybe I just missed out on it. I'm not 100% sure. And so if you do choose to go this route, you're almost definitely going to want to put in some sound dampening. I've put in neoprene foam, which has worked wonders, but it made the difference between these keys that sound pingy versus these ones a lot more apparent, which isn't that great. This is where I feel like maybe getting a metal plate might have made it sound a little more consistent, but I'm not going to comment too much on that because I don't have a metal plate and this is a soldered build. So I'm not going to go back and desolder and switch out the plate. So I do also want to highlight the reasons why someone might still want a Tofu. And I think a big one is that building this keyboard is still very representative of building a normal keyboard, right? If you like soldering, if you like the DIY aspect of it, this might be more for you than something like a Portico NK65, Keychron Q1, because those boards are already kind of put together and the customizability isn't really there, right? You get to pick out your own switches and I guess stabilizers, but apart from that, there's not much you can change. Whereas with a soldered PCB, you can change a lot of things. For instance, this layout, I have split spacebar, arrow keys down here, all 1U keys, backspace where pipe is, and split backspace up here. So yeah, you can do a lot of things with the soldered PCB. I think the hot swap PCB isn't all that great of a buy for this board because a lot of the boards that I've mentioned, the NK65, Portico, etc., those boards are all hot swap and they'll lock you into one specific layout. Whereas I think having that flexibility is going to be really big. Also, if you like stepped caps lock, you can also do that, right? So yeah, another big selling point of this board is that it is metal, right? It's aluminum, so it does give it more heft than the plastic boards, and that, generally speaking, most people will see that as being more premium, whereas plastic boards, while they are lighter, won't feel as nice in the hand, at least in my experience, and that seems like the general consensus. There's nothing wrong with plastic boards. I actually personally like plastic boards more because I like the sound characteristics more, but that is just something to note. So yeah, there's still a lot of reasons to like the Tofu and consider the Tofu, but I think for me personally, because it is tray mount and a lot of manufacturers, designers, etc. are moving away from tray mount and in favor of things like gasket mount, top mount, etc. That's where it becomes a little difficult to recommend. I really like being able to use my own layout, but there are a handful of other boards like that. And if you are going the hot swap route, your experience is probably not going to be all that different from a lot of the previously mentioned boards or a lot of other boards on the market, right? So the Tofu as an entry-level board, while I think the build process is really what you're going to be wanting for with this board, at the end of the day, it's all preference. Do what you want. That's just my opinion. So yeah, time for my kind of closing statements here. So this board, while not my favorite, because of the flexibility in the layout, I've been using this for the past few weeks, and partly because my friend borrowed my Nyquist, but this board and this layout is probably going to be like an easy backup keyboard, because while I could use something like the Prionic or a backup board, the PCB on mine personally is a bit jank, and also this kind of spaces everything out a little bit nicer because I like having my hands a little bit further apart, and a 60 key ortholinear is a bit too crammed for me. So yeah, this keyboard is definitely going to stick around at least for some time, because even if I did try selling this, the layout is a little weird. So yeah, I think the board still definitely has its place. Maybe not the same place it was in a while back though. So yeah, anyways, if you guys have any questions about anything that I talked about in this video, just let me know in the comments below and I'll try to get back to you as soon as possible. I may have kind of ragged on the Tofu quite a bit in this video, but I do want to say again, this is all my preference and I do still enjoy the board. Just if something like the Portico NK65 came in a soldered PCB where I could change the layout myself, then I think that'd be a huge game changer for me. Literally just specifically to me. So yeah, anyways, I'm going to wrap up this video here. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.